to hex or not to hex? That is the question. In today's world, witchy circles, we're full of debates. We like to say what we think is right and what we think is wrong and have little arguments amongst ourselves, as well as people outside of the witchy circles, especially evangelicists. I can never say the word right, but they just want to blame everything on witches. Witches are evil, witches are cursing people, witches are doing this, that, the other. And some witches do that and some don't. You might have heard of things like the threefold law, the Wiccan Rede. Well, it's all dubious, I suppose. It's all a matter of what you think is right. Personal preference, maybe. Well, I'm going to be answering the question about the ethics of baneful magic. Should you do it or not from a Hecate witch's point of view? Let's get into it. Now, hello, welcome or welcome back. It's me, Sarah, that divination witch. I hope you stick around. This is a safe space. This channel is a witchy community that I've set up where people can help each other and ask questions without being judged, because no question is silly. Ask, we're all different and we've all got to start somewhere. If you like that, you know what to do. Hit subscribe. And if you want to support the channel further, I do offer readings. It's all linked below. I've got a shop, website, etc. Also on Patreon, we are embracing the year of the dark goddess. So it's all about tapping into our untapped potential. Basically connecting with the dark goddess and stepping into our power. If you like that, go check it out. So, baneful magic. Well, my honest opinion, it has its time and place. And I know Hecate would say the same, and probably a lot of other Hecate witches, no matter what sort of Hecate witch you are, would say the same as well. That, yes, sometimes throw in a hex or a curse, in extreme circumstances I'd say, but yeah, why not? It depends why you're doing it. There is no such thing as a threefold law. I know some Wiccans believe it, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to besmirch your beliefs or whatever, but it doesn't quite happen like that. However, there is such a thing as cause and effect, and I guess in us Westerners would say karma, not in the same way Eastern traditions think of karma, but it's kind of like the energy you put out is what you get back. It's like law of attraction, whether that's positive or negative. So if you set your positive intentions into the world, then you're going to be met in kind, and vice versa. So when it comes to the ethics of doing a baneful working, it is going to be pretty personal. But as a Hecate, like I said, yes, it's valid, and yes, it can be done and should be done in certain circumstances. I hold my hands up. I have done some baneful workings before. I don't make a habit of it. And I'm going to get into why and where Hecate I feel would approve and where she wouldn't. Okay? So, in my humble opinion, a hex is not as bad as a curse, okay? A hex is more giving somebody bad luck for a time, and then it'll eventually run out. So it could be like things going wrong, nothing too major. They might, I don't know, lose some money, some minor inconveniences. The car might break or something daft like that kind of thing. A curse is way worse. It is something that is lasting, something that is detrimental, and something that can also last generations. You hear of family curses, generational curses. They can be very karmic, and they're very serious, and they can result in serious consequences. I will leave the rest up to your imagination because we're on YouTube, but very serious things. So I haven't actually cursed anybody because I don't know of anybody that I would do that to in my life so strong, you know. What I would say about a curse is, it's got to be something mega, 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 mega bad for you to justify that. Because ultimately, Hecate is the goddess of witchcraft, all forms of witchcraft. And she is very just. I see her as a justice goddess. Any sort of witchcraft, baneful or not, if it isn't meant to be, she'll stop it. Because there are other sorts of spells out there, like love spells, for example, that can take away people's free will, and she isn't about that life. So she can get in the way of things. So when it comes to a curse, that's a heavy weight on your shoulders as the caster if that isn't going to be condoned. So to curse somebody, I would say it's got to be something like a heinous, heinous crime. I'll leave that up to your imagination as well, because YouTube. Something mega bad, maybe loss of lives, things like that. I think that would have grounds for a curse, you know. But even that, surprisingly, and you might not like to hear it, but some people who have done stuff like that, they've already got their own karma on their back, and their soul is not immune to punishment, let's say, and therefore they're going to reap what they sow. A lot, like I said, the energy you put out into the world, a lot of things come back to you. So if you're going to do something, you're kind of cursing yourself in that regard. That's mega extreme, though, of course, and I don't know if I would ever need to do that in life. It would have to be extreme circumstances for me to even be tempted to do anything like that. But that's my ethics. People are curses for hire out there. People will do this for a bit of money. And, you know, go get your money, girl or boy, or whoever. Go do it. But just know, no matter what spirit you're working with, what tradition you're in, that's a heavy burden on your shoulders if it wasn't justified, especially for clients, because you're relying on somebody else giving you the correct information. Maybe it's not quite as it seems. Maybe they're embellishing the story, or, you know. So I'd tread carefully personally, because it could backfire onto you, and this is something I'll talk about in a bit. A hex is less serious. Like I said, it is things maybe going wrong in someone's life, spouts of bad luck, things like that. Like I said, I don't know, car might break, they might lose some money for a while, I don't know, daft things like that, basically. Nothing mega serious that there's going to be a loss of life sort of thing. I've had hexes thrown at me before over petty stuff. It is what it is. I know for a fact when it's been thrown at me, that person's had things happen to them without me having to do anything. I have hexed somebody back once as a hex, and then I've done plenty of spicy return to senders, you could say, because that's something I'll get onto in a sec as well. The person I did the hex to once, let's just say this person did something very bad in the context of a work environment, and they really, 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 really impacted not just me, but a whole workforce of people. And when I say impacted, it was detrimental to people's mental health and physical health. It was malicious. And I felt Hecate was like, stretch your muscles, girl. Meaning, well, you're a witch. Do something. Because it was that time, and I think I've shared the story on the channel before, I was literally sitting in my living room and she delivered a wasp. And I can't make this up. This wasp, I did a short of it at the time. It might still be on my YouTube shorts, but it was on TikTok. It was a couple of years back. It flew into my house, landed on this ottoman thing that I've got, and just keeled over and died. And I'm like, oh. It was like right in front of my eyes, like, there's a wasp for you. It was like Hecate going, there's a wasp for you, because a wasp is good in baneful magic. So I used it against that person. And I do believe that they've had a taste of their own medicine, basically, is what I did. And that's the only time I've hexed somebody. But like I say, I've done return to senders, and I couldn't even count them all at this point. But why have I only hexed like one person? Why have I only done that once in my life? It's not because I think I'm better than anyone else or anything like that. It is not because I'm a pushover either. For anyone who wants to try it, I wouldn't want to be you. It's not because of that. It's because of Hecate and her teachings that sometimes the energy that we spend could be put to use elsewhere in a better, more constructive way. A lot of energy now that is sent to me in a bad way is transmuted into good energy, into good luck for me and my intentions. So that is one way of doing it. You could also use your own energy just for your own benefit. This is something she's taught me, is even when someone's wronged you, instead of bringing them down, why not boost yourself up to prove that you don't need that energy, you don't care, and you're better than that sort of thing, like rise above it kind of thing. But at that point when I did that hex, I was sick of rising above things. I've rose above things a lot of my life. So yeah. Now, they can backfire on you if they are not actioned correctly. And they can backfire on you if they're not justified. So there was another time, it wasn't a hex. I've told this story on the channel, loads. But there was a time I tried to do a banishment and Hecate blocked it. And I almost banished myself. So it's because, one, it wasn't justified. And two, I kind of did it a bit wrong. Let's just say it like that. So you've got to have the right intentions, right ingredients. And everything's got to be right about it. Because you can risk it backfiring. I mean, any spell could backfire if you aren't coming at it properly with full intentions, pure heart sort of thing. There is a risk of that, no matter what the working is. But in that regard, yep, she blocked it and saved my bacon, basically, as well. But when it comes to things being justified, like I said, it's very much Hecate is like eye for an eye. Okay, so if somebody is a dick, then she'll encourage you to get your justice. But she, for all she is the goddess of magic, doesn't always say to do it as a hex or a curse or whatever. We are humans living a human life, and we should try and fix things in a human way. So she's had me confront people, have it out with them when I haven't wanted to, instead of going straight to her or straight to my magic. No, Sarah, use your words. And so I've had to use my words, sort of thing, because I don't like confrontation a lot of the time, but sometimes we've got to do it, you know. Now, if somebody is sending you a baneful working, what you can do is take that energy and turn it back to them. This is why us as witches have wards. We can have different varieties of wards. I've just explained I've got a transmutation ward as one of them. We can also have wards that automatically bat things back to people. with an extra bit of spice, let's say. We can have wards that are like shields, and we can have wards that are like decoys. So you can use your DNA in a ward, so the energy will go to your DNA instead of you, for example. There are many types of wards. I've got layers on layers, different types, transmutation, got several of them. Ones that absorb energy, ones that return the energy. But you can do a return to sender yourself on anything that's hit you, and it's basically taking that person's energy, that negative intent they've sent you, and sending it back to them. So you're not expending your own energy, you're using what's already been sent to you and saying, have it back, goodbye. You can add a bit more spice onto there. You can put a bit more bad luck onto there, which I normally do, if I'm honest, because I'm like, well, if you're going to hit me first, I'll hit you back, but I'll hit you harder. That's the way I've always been. I may be soft, but I'm not a pushover. So that's kind of how I do it in that regard. It's not just hexes and curses and magic, though. Evil eye is a thing. And being in the public eye, I get it a lot. People don't mean to send it, but they do. If you don't know what the evil eye is, it's basically bad intentions. Anyone is capable of it, consciously and not. It's when someone's jealous, somebody is talking shit about you, basically, or if somebody wants what you want, even if it's not in a bad way, even if it's like, oh, I wish I had that. That can manifest as an evil eye. And I've had that so many times now, and of people I've loved and cared about as well, family members, friends even. People can't help it to an extent. And so that energy can manifest as well as negative energy onto you. And so that's why it's a good thing to keep yourself cleansed and to regularly do banishings. So, all in all, as a Hecatean witch, baneful workings, there's a time and a place. Yes, do them. But more often than not, if you are going to Hecate to do it, it's got to be very, very justified. Otherwise, she may block it or it'll backfire onto you. And she will probably tell you first, well, try a different method. Don't just expend your energy for no reason. And she does that because she wants to protect us, those of us who work with her, those of us she cares about. She doesn't want us to be lost souls. She wants us to be strong, independent, well-rounded individuals. So she is going to teach us, like, to not be so petty, basically, and childish. I feel like as a goddess, she thinks all of that's petty bullshit, to be quite frank. So, yeah. I hope this answered some questions about baneful magic. If there is anything else you want me to ask, put it in the comments. If I can't reply, help each other out. I'll try and make videos where I can on things. If you made it this far, you may as well hit subscribe. If you want to learn more about Hecate or even witchcraft, I've got different playlists on the channel. Go check it out. And until next time, stay safe, stay witchy. Bye.